plan to himself. And speaking of games, let's go ahead and get into game 1 here of round 2 of YCS Providence.
Awesome. I think our players have showcased all the cards they'll be playing with for this event, which is very exciting to see.
Yeah.
So we got Yacine rolling a 9, and we've got Kody rolling a 3.
You choose who goes first, so it's you, huh?
Just strong stuff, so he's going to choose.
Cool. So we can start.
Awesome. Good start. All right. Good luck.
Best
man.
of luck, eh?
Great sportsmanship.
Yep, there we see Kody going first there. Looking like he's going to be starting off with some really fun things. Oop, got the standby phase. Perulia coming down from Yacine.
Oh, and the Perulia is definitely going to hurt here as he activates Regenesis.
The classic name of the card. This will allow him to either add a Regenesis name to his hand,
or send one to the graveyard, but I imagine he'd probably add to the hand to get a peek at his hand.
I'm just gonna double check, but yeah, it resolves.
And add it to hand or send it.
Yep,
Oh,
always
yeah.
big ups on the scene there, just double checking for himself to make sure he knows how that card works, because he might see that card again in other games. There we see Regenesis Archfiend being looked at. That's going to be probably the main Rhoda monster for the deck.
It absolutely is. It does search from the deck to the hand a Regenesis monster, and you got a lot of different options. Some duelists like to pick Sage out just so they have some sort of ability to negate their opponent's card effects. But looks like, oh no, another Mulcharmy.
So now if we do that inherent summoning condition from the hand, Yacine will get 2 cards.
That's a lot. Maybe taking a U-turn here. Kody does have the option effectively to pivot into just bringing out maybe a Kashtira monster. You probably want to do something. Unicorn obviously feels great. There are Regenesis monsters that are level 7, like Regenesis Sage, so you could normal summon it with the Kashtira Burst to prevent it, but you're still summoning a monster from the hands. The Perulia is going to cause 2 cards drawn.
Yeah, at this point, I'm sure Kody's probably thinking to himself, if I just pass, Yacine went -2, do I have any non-engine in my hand that can maybe disrupt him? But nope, he's going to go for that Unicorn and give his opponent 2 extra draws here.
Tough.
It's probably a rough situation. There we see a set card there. I think I saw a
It was
little
super
look what that was.
polymerization.
Yeah.
What?
I was like, I don't want to jinx it, but that might be going a little brazy right now, because wouldn't the Regenesis trigger if you discard it with Super Poly as well?
As long as your opponent's turn, yeah, during the end phase, you'll add it back to your hand. I like to call the end phase of your opponent's turn the Regenesis phase.
It's our end phase in this matchup.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
All right, but here we see Yacine starting off here. He's just facing down a Unicorn. We're going to start off with X Ryzeal. That's a really good start right there.
Really is, and it shows you that, like, hey, sometimes you just draw the out, right?
Yep, there we see the Aggregator is chaining 2, targeting that Unicorn, so that way he will not get that rip of the extra deck, protecting his potentially one of Detonator ever since the Forbidden and Limitless update back from Houston.
A lot of duelists are terrified to see Kashtira Unicorn because with some of these limited extra deck powerhouses like Ryzeal Detonator, you can't do anything if you lose it unless you're going to add something like, what, Necroface to your deck?
Yes, 1,000%.
All right, so we do have the Sword Ryzeal grabbing the Ice Ryzeal to the hand here. And there are new Ryzeal cards too. We might get to see a Star Ryzeal at some point.
Well, it might be a little hard to see that now because we have that Troll and Lockbird coming up from Kody, going to be stopping Yacine from adding more cards from his deck to his hand.
Yacine sort of processing there what to do next.
And that Super Poly might be more than the disruption that Kody needs to kind of stymie Yacine and keep him off any more Ryzeal combos.
Definitely a really heads-up inclusion there to include the super polymerization. You're not really using your extra deck that much in a pure Regenesis build. That seems to be what we've got since we saw a couple of deck searches.
27, it gains 200 or only 100
per act. So
it includes my field?
Correct.
Just double checking the power increase right there. So yeah, right now the Unicorn's at 27. Going to be swinging with that 3,000 Detonator here. Take 300.
So
Really heads up if you've
77,
seen how to summon another monster there because you could have been playing into the potential Super Poly.
Very smart there.
And he just passes. Look at this. Yacine showing a lot of restraint. He's like, I think a 3-material Detonator is going to be more than enough to stop Kody. I'm not going to waste my Ice effect for no reason.
Good enough for last format, good enough for this format too. Looks like Kody drew Regenesis Birth there, so powerful trap card that we may get to see used.
Can I just read Alpha, please?
Yep, so we revealed Alpha, the Master of Beasts, to summon this Regenesis Archfiend, which is really cool because Alpha does have 2,500 defense, and Yacine's just double-checking here how Alpha works. It's been a while since this card. I think it came out back in, what, not Phantom Rage, back when Zeus came out.
Yes, definitely a while ago, but all you need to get up Regenesis Archfiend is just to have a card in your hand that has 2,500 attack or 2,500 defense. And so, yeah, Alpha the Master Beast does have that 2,500 defense.
Sure. And Yacine's like, nope, I don't want that Archfiend to stay in the field. I'm just going to Detonator, get rid of it when he tries to activate the Search effect here. Kody will still get the Search here, but will not have a Regenesis still in play, which can make summoning his other Regenesis monsters a little difficult because some of them require them to have 2,500 attacks on the field not in the hand.
That's correct. That's correct. Actually, pretty much every
so this
other
one
one
is, the
besides
one that
Regenesis
negates.
Lord also has that condition. Regenesis Lord, I saw Kody eye it for just a second. It is the sort of big old boss of this deck. Gets 5,000 attack total during the battle phase and does let you set one of your Regenesis spell or trap cards. So really good follow-up plays. But doesn't look like he's going for that. He's going for Regenesis Sage for the negate here.
I do see the Birth in his hand. Did he draw that for turn?
He did draw that for turn.
Very nice. That could be a way for him to kind of get more access to resources. And then here we see the Alpha coming down, which will probably allow him to summon the Sage now.
Yes.
Does get the Sage in defense mode here. A little worried about the effects of Ryzel Detonator, or maybe just its attack. Considering whether to bounce, maybe a little difficult.
It's not once per turn, so I can keep like detaching material to destroy one of the cards on the field whenever you activate a card or effect.
Yep, so Kody's just clarifying here how the timing
and
of
also,
Detonator would work
before
in
you
response to
go
his
into,
Alpha's effect.
Battle phase, yeah, still, because I want to tell you that if you try to destroy one of my YCS monsters, Detonator can protect it either from battle by card effect by detaching material.
Yacine doing a great job of following the tournament policy guidelines, not just telling a portion of the effect, really explaining his cards to his opponent. A great example to follow.
Right, Detonator has so many effects, it can be hard to remember. Not only it can protect its stuff, but he can also like just stop his effects as well and destroy some cards on the field.
Absolutely.
All right, so here I think Kody's debating whether or not he wants to use Alpha's effect to bounce. I believe we're going to chain Detonator to that.
Kind of a little weird. If you're not bouncing beasts, are you bouncing anything?
Oh, no. What happened was he went to battle phase, and because of the race off, Alpha is stronger than Detonator. He went battle phase, dealt some damage, and now the Detonator used its material to protect itself. Got it.
That makes sense.
I was like, I didn't hear Kody say a single word, but yet stuff happened, and I'm like, oh, okay. Here we're just clarifying.
So it has to be hand or face up field.
Face up field, yeah, cool.
Yep, so just clarifying how Sage can use his effect.
Yep.
Sage is a really interesting and excellent card, but without very many resources. Oh, and you see he is going to keep that in the hand. Makes sense because you need to be able to discard that Regenesis Birth. You're not going to be able to keep it face up on the field with Ryzel Detonator's quick effect.
Yeah, and right now he values that ability to negate rather than the extra body or the book that you would get from Regenesis Birth.
Absolutely. Shows you the one Ryzel Detonator still enough.
So there we see the Ice Ryzel coming down that you've seen search last turn. This will go ahead and get him back into his Ryzel combo here, which will be really nice for him to kind of play through the board that Kody has here.
Now, a lot of different choices. Let's see if he goes for something new, like Star Ryzel, or just goes for the old reliable. It looks like it's Sword.
It's going to be Sword. Haven't seen any of his Mitsurugi cards so far. He's just been rocking with the Ryzels Classic.
Yeah, if you were Kody, you wouldn't know that any reptiles were coming.
So here we're going to go into, well, speaking of the reptile, there's the King of Paralymps himself going to be able to search for any reptile in his deck. We're going to chain the effect of Sage here, and then we're going to chain Detonator to destroy the back row. Unfortunately, we cannot chain it because we have no cards in hand to activate Super
it is that Super Polymerization, and I don't think there's the right combination of cards on the field in order to get this off.
And Yacine's doing that, like being like, I want to make sure I have all known information, and then,
So
there we see.
effects, right?
Nothing at the moment. End phase, anything at that. Actually, no, there is nothing.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool.
Yep, you're seeing just
Nothing
clarifying that nothing else is going to be kind of sneaking up on him here as he goes throughout his turn, maybe thinking of going for game, potentially.
And that's negate destroy, by the way. Oh, take all that.
Yep.
Oh, so he's going to negate. Okay, so we did go ahead and get rid of that.
Yes, Sage does in fact negate and destroy there. We already used Ice. I don't think we have any other. We have another X in hand, I believe, that we searched off the Sword.
But with those additional cards from earlier, the Mulcharmy's effect resolving, I think Yacine's got everything he needs as he starts with X Ryzel, sending likely an Eclipse Twins, I would imagine.
I mean, it's worth noting that this Alpha Beast is 3,200 attack points, I believe, and that's kind of hard to get over when you have no materials on a Detonator. I'm not even sure. Maybe like Light Pulsar at Ignister. I don't want to like guess about what he's probably going to go into here, but he needs to find some answer for this Alpha Beast before he goes in for game. And I believe Sage has 2,500 defense, obviously. Oh, we're going to make Eclipse Twins here. That could be a way to kind of clear this board.
Yeah. Oh, with the Node Ryzel. Perfect there. So going to get basically 2 for 1.
And now we can go into a dual drive and use the dual drive modulation effect on the attack points, and that can maybe make your... Oh, no, we're going to go into King of Paralymps here again. Because it's not once per turn, is it?
It's not. It's
a hard
not.
once per turn. No, it's not a hard once per turn.
No, you certainly can use that effect multiple times as long as you've got materials and it's not the same copy face up on the field. And with Eclipse Twins, no, it's definitely a different copy.
Very heads up. And now we're going to go for the duo drive here. Yeah, I'm really liking what Yacine's doing here, just playing through all of his resources, make sure he has access to every kind of engine he could possibly have before he goes in for any big plays to try to go for game. Having Habakiri as well as the full Ryzeal cross plus the ice special effect is going to be super awesome for him.
These snakes are about to bite down.
Habakiri?
Yep,
We finally get to see it resolve once per duel, so it's the only time it's going to happen this turn.
Yep, so we're going to summon from the deck, and then we're going to tribute the Pharaoh Imps to resolve the effect fully, and now we're going to use Saji to search for Mitsugi Ritual, and now we can probably summon Murakumo. Oh no, we searched Prayers, sorry. We already had the Ritual in hand, because we're built different.
See, like I said, just drawing all of those cards. Didn't start with a bonfire, didn't even have to get anything, just start with the extra Ryzeal. Very similar, just very lucky in this duel, and you see all of the new reptiles coming out there one by one.
Yep, even Nightsword Serpent, which is a really nice inclusion that this deck can play in the Ryzeal version that you don't really see in the pure version as much.
Every monster on your field,
Yep.
and then this summons itself back and it searches.
I think we're getting close to the end here on this one.
Oh yeah, the math is starting to add up for your scene here.
When you mentioned how big Alpha the Master of Beast was, I was concerned, but then I realized that duelists have been dealing with big monsters for a while with the Bureau of the Primal Being tokens, so you just kind of have to find your way into it, and obviously with the sort of built-in Raigeki effect of the Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi, yeah, he's got it done.
Yep, he's even going into Ghost or Emerald here just to make sure he has all the resources and get an extra card draw.
Just in case, just in case. I mean, his opponent doesn't have anything, but...
Yeah, his opponent has one field spell, no cards in hand, whereas I think total Yacine has 12 cards, and that'll be game one there, going to Yacine.
Very cool. Yacine showing us the power of the Mitsurugi deck and just how consistent Habakiri is. But I don't really think Habakiri was turning the tide on that duel. I think Yacine would have found a way, whether it was this format or last.
Oh, yeah. And Habakiri being able to be like a one-card double ritual monster plus an extra Mitsurugi spell card is just so powerful.
Well, he's taking game one. Let's see how we get in game two. Means Kody has an additional chance to go first. It might have a slightly more explosive turn if he doesn't run into double Molcharmies. Yacine's smiling there, very excited for himself, off to a good start.
It's always good to get that first game in the bag because it just like kind of solidifies like, okay, I now have 2 more tries no matter what to take home this match, as long as I play quickly and I play my best.
In video game terms, it almost feels like having an extra life. You're like, okay, I'm going to try my hardest. This is important. But I'm not against the wall. I can still, I've got another guy, right?
100%. But if you're Kody, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, I kind of didn't get to show off a lot of what the Regenesis cards can do because Perulia is like literally the one Molcharmy you can't really do anything about. You don't really summon from the extra deck. You don't really summon from graveyard during your own turn, and so all the other ones just don't matter to you. But not being able to summon from your hand. Like, he had like 3 different inherent summons in that first turn, but he's like, I'm not going to give my opponent 6 extra cards.
I wouldn't either. I mean, the deck is good, but not so good that you could play through all of that. You know, no deck is safe from these Molcharmies lurking around, and you're right that Perulia, who is well known for dealing with like Ryzeal, perfectly matched against Regenesis. So we'll see if Yacine's patented luck pays off in this next duel.
It's going to be really interesting to see if there's been any sort of updates to each other's decks from the side deck. Like, I'm not sure necessarily what fun cards you would play to counter Regenesis because it's doing a very unique thing, but we can see.
Yeah, you know, the format has obviously changed. You're not really... I mean, it's not a Molcharmy Meow's like weak deck, right? Because you're not special summoning from the graveyard. You're adding the cards from the graveyard back to your hand. So really, Perulia is the strat. So hope for a little jellyfish to come your way.
100%. All right, here we see both players, I think, fully set up. It's now just going to be a question of whether Kody chose to go first, or if you went for the surprise, you're actually going first.
Yeah. We haven't seen anybody flip the script like that in a while, but maybe Kody's got some sort of going second build. The super polymerization's mad respect on that because it's so cool. You're discarding a Regenesis monster. You're getting everything set up for that amazing end phase on your opponent's turn. But speaking of end phases, let's go ahead and go to a draw phase because it's game 2 here at our YCS Providence.
Both players just wheeling and dealing, getting ready, having a good little question.
Good luck, man.
Good. Best of luck. Thank you.
Aw.
So you're going first,
I'm
huh?
going to go first.
Yeah.
We'll have a handshake, and Kody clarifying, yes, I am going first. Best of luck to you guys.
Let's see what that hand is.
All right.
I see the number 2500.
That's all we need, really.
Stand by?
Yep.
Main?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to his main phase. Last time we were not able to get this far without seeing a Molcharmy, so here we go. Starting off with Unicorn.
That helps a lot.
That is definitely the honorary Regenesis monster. And there we see the Regenesis spell card coming down, not using Kashtira's effect to search for a spell card, notably.
Well, his fellow commentator and Konami representative Jerome said, you know, the hardest Regenesis monster to summon is the first one. But using Kashtira monsters, what a great answer. 2500, Unicorn gets it done.
And I love
You don't have to shuffle
I
it
love
because
summoning the
you're
Unicorn
going back
before
to
you go into the Archfiend, because now if Yacine does have some form of non-engine that's a monster effect, free rip of your extra deck. Bye-bye Detonator.
Exactly. So we are going to activate Regenesis. Go ahead and search the Archfiend, reveal in order to special summon. It looks like we're putting in defense mode this time, using the effect of Archfiend to add, and I would assume you would grab the Regenesis Sage if you didn't already have it.
Also, not using the Unicorn effect allows you to dodge, draw, and Lockbird too, which is pretty cool. Before you activate your Genesis card. So now you got the guaranteed search.
Alrighty.
That's Lord, right?
It is Lord.
Nothing.
And that makes sense
Lord, when
because
it's summoned, it's gonna
technically
set, like,
you're not doing a whole lot with the Regenesis Archfiend. You are giving
And it
up an
does, like, nothing
opportunity
else,
to summon it again
gain
later
5
because
days
remember,
or
you
charge.
banish your Regenesis
okay.
monster in order to summon Lord. But what you get in exchange for it
Initially,
is
it's like 0
setting
attack?
any Regenesis spell or trap. So it could be Code, it could be
okay,
Birth,
and it
maybe
becomes
even
fine.
another copy of Regenesis if you haven't
Yeah,
activated
yeah,
this
yeah,
turn,
yeah.
but that's not the
Okay,
case for
cool.
Cody this duel.
Yep, and here we see Yacine just double-checking that card, making sure he knows how strong it really is. And there we see the Sage, the card that he revealed off of his Archfiend to summon it. And then we got a Lord coming down, going to be banishing that Archfiend in order to summon it to the field. And like you said, going to be searching for a spell and trap to set directly to the field.
Now, Sage is great here because if you're worried about Nibiru the Primal Being, you're fine, right? You could go ahead and just pitch one of your monsters, including the Lord. And the great thing about the Regenesis cards is it says 2,500 original attack. And yes, certainly that's to prevent shenanigans of like copying attacks, but it also means you can boost a monster's attack and still use your Regenesis effects for cost or summoning conditions because it's original attack.
And there we see the Birth being chosen by Kody to set using Lord's effect. That card basically allows you to send a Regenesis card from your deck to the graveyard to Book of Moon one of your opponent's monsters, and then it also has an effect to banish itself and summon a Regenesis from the banishment. Or anywhere actually.
Yeah, and it's it's multiples at the same time, which is really cool, but that Book of Moon style effect of flipping a card face down is really important because remember, you don't have a face-up monster, you're not going to conduct an Xyz summon, so Yacine may have his work cut out for him at least this duel.
Yeah, this is one impressive turn 1 board here from Kody, and not a single monster from the extra deck
Yeah.
involved in it at all.
What extra deck? That's extra. All right, so Yacine about to commit his first card here.
I'll go with Harakiri.
And what a one card it is! Habakiri no
Special
Mitsurugi is
summons
going to be
the
using.
Mitsurugi
This will
monster
allow him
from
to
the
search
deck,
special
and
summon a
then I
Mitsurugi
have
monster
to
from the
tribute a
deck,
monster on the field.
and then
it's
immediately
a
after
once per
that,
duel.
tribute a monster.
What a crazy effect. The fact that it special summons and tributes immediately, not even giving the opponent a chance to use an effect veil or infinite permanence, anything like that.
And it usually always gets a Saji, and then we're going to immediately tribute the Saji, and then use Saji's effect to search for a Mitsurugi spell card. Usually going to probably end up getting the Ritual if you don't already have access to it, but we're going to chain Unicorn, chain link 2.
And it looks like Yacine thinking about maybe doing something different here. Oh, wow, the droplet coming down. Discarding
This is
Ash
gonna
Blossom
search.
and Joyous
This is
Spring.
And Nibiru the Primal Being.
Ooh, wow. It makes sense. You've already kind of seen all the stuff. You know Nibiru isn't that strong against Regenesis because of the built-in Sage.
Yep, and I believe we targeted both the Sage and the Unicorn with that droplet to make sure that they're not going to be bothering us for the rest of this turn.
Oh, there's the Droll Lockbird.
That can really hurt Yacine if he doesn't have already access to his Ryzeal engine.
It's definitely a wake-up call for Yacine. You saw the energy levels kind of tempered themselves there.
Right. There we see the Ritual coming down.
Ritual from
You can choose either summon from hand or from deck.
hand.
We're going to summon from hand, which means we're going to send from the deck to the graveyard. Or sorry, tribute from the deck to the graveyard. I should be more accurate.
Which is incredible, by the way. What a card. Because we've had things like advanced ritual art and high ritual art that send materials or ritual summon from unusual locations. I don't know if there's any card in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game that tributes from the deck, besides Mitsurugi Ritual.
Yep, and then we set, so we attributed Kusanagi as well as Night Sword Serpent, which will summon itself out, and then Kusanagi will add back the Ritual spell. And so now we can use Ritual spell again, tributing the Habakiri to bring out Murakumo.
Murakumo definitely spelled the end for Kody, giving that sort of Raigeki-style destroy all monsters on the field effect. Scene still working through, but yeah, we're going again.
Yep. This will probably tribute the Habakiri, like I said, to summon the Murakumo, and then Habakiri will trigger after being tributed to summon itself back and add.
Effect to destroy every monster on your field.
I will attempt.
Wow, that Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi doing work.
We're going to chain Imperm on the Murakumo to make sure that our cards do not get destroyed.
I'll chain Ame. So if you can't discard a card, it just gets negated.
Yep, then there we see the chain of the on-field effect, so to negate the Imperm, because Kody cannot discard a card from his empty hand.
Check what use
It is worth noting that during the battle phase, Lord will be 5,000 attack points, but
It does gain 2,500, that's right.
it's going to be destroyed by the time the chain resolves. So
I feel like that is what's coming now. You do still have access to the Regenesis
Yeah, so they all
birth there, but it's powerful, but I don't know if it's enough to get us out of this jam.
yeah, it just lets you you need a way to get rid of it on his own board to get more value out of it.
And I don't know, if, the only thing, flipping something face down certainly will help get you back into the game. I'd love to see a great end phase where you just get to add and add and add, but I just don't know if it's you're in the cards.
Well, I mean, without being able to access his Ryzel engine, I don't believe Yacine has the damage he needs to go for a game. And it is worth noting he didn't bring back the Habakiri because I believe he couldn't do it under Droll because he can't add to his hand.
That is right.
I'll go battle face swing for 32.
Yeah, so Kody's going to walk off scot-free here.
Yeah. So you foolish and then it gets booked?
Nope. So it's send it for cost.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing
gonna
the
use
other
Send it
effects.
for cost, and then reborn any Regenesis from hand, graveyard, or banish.
Yeah.
So,
Now, the reason, if you're
And then
asking
they
yourself,
die on
why
their
didn't he
finger?
flip it down and
yeah.
then summon the other ones? You only get
is
to
that
use
good?
one of the effects
Yeah.
once per turn.
That's
so you
right.
do have to pick between the Book of Moon style effect and this soul charge level. It's hand, graveyard, or banishment.
Yeah.
It ignores the summoning conditions?
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me double check that
Yeah.
actually.
I believe it does or
Yeah,
ignore the
this
summoning
one-
conditions.
I
We're
think it's just
having-
it's improperly summoned already.
I guess he's just asking if it can summon Lord.
Incorrect. Sorry.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah, so Lord is the only one it cannot bring back.
Archfiend effect.
Correct. It
summon.
must
Okay,
be
so it doesn't
special
negate
summoned
the
by
effect.
banishing.
Nope.
Okay.
Does not negate the effects. If you want to just click,
Yeah,
double
yeah.
check.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, their
Yeah, but
effects
it
are
resolves
still
anyway.
fine to my knowledge.
Can you remind me? Did I use Stage's effect this turn? I don't think I
To
did.
negate? No, you
Okay.
haven't.
So it's live again.
Yeah.
Yep, just
And
making
then
sure we have a
Regenesis Archfiend
clarification
was
of everything that we
good.
have here.
Yeah. It doesn't negate.
Yeah, normally the way you use Birth is like you use the Book of Moon effect on your opponent's turn, then during your turn you send it to summon all your guys back.
That's
and go
right.
for a
That's
game.
right. Just go for the full-on in. But right now, we
They have,
just
like,
need
no
bodies.
protection, so whether I attack them or whether I pass turn,
Correct.
they all die.
Yep. But I will clarify, in end phase, if they're sent to the graveyard this turn, they all add one.
Yeah.
Cody
each
explaining
one
the
has to
fact
call
that
them
they,
individually to add back to hand.
as
Yeah.
Yacine said, go to the
we'll add
graveyard
one
this turn. They're still all going to come back because they were sent to the graveyard during the opponent's turn.
And here we got Archfiend searching for Warrior, I believe. That's a really good one to grab here.
Yeah, because of the bounce effect, and that actually could be pretty good against a ritual deck because you're forcing your opponent to pay those costs again. But paying costs is what
Attack
Mixery
anything.
likes to do.
Attack this one, I guess.
I'm really impressed here with how Yacine's kind of navigating this matchup that I'm sure he's not as familiar with, given that these cards came out yesterday for a lot of
Yeah.
players.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. So Warrior back
Thanks
to
for
back.
main phase 2.
Oh, I guess we weren't able to use Regenesis Archfiend.
Yep.
Yeah, because you can't search because you draw Lockbird.
That's
so
right, that's right.
judges
It-
got their eyeballs open.
It does, in fact, affect both players.
Good catch.
Certainly
Thank you.
difficult for all
for it.
players,
So
duelists,
this
as
goes
experienced
to
as
Ray,
Yacine and Cody,
then
and judges
phase,
who have been playing
do
this game
whatever
for a
you
long, long time. Remember, these cards
Yeah,
did
do
just
that
come out
before.
yesterday, so we're
Yeah.
going to explore this format
from the
together.
group, yeah.
And
I've
again,
got no responses.
Okay.
again,
Archfiend.
really impressed here with Yacine here. Just going to go for the nice passive
Sword.
Baguska here to
Okay,
end
even
his
that
turn.
one has the recursion?
Yeah.
Check that out,
Uh,
Regenesis.
yes.
Because I don't remember.
To my knowledge, Lord does not
I
bring
think
himself
Lord is
back.
the only one that
No,
does it.
like
Yeah,
learning a new
Lord
deck.
is
Yeah.
very
For the-
special. That's why he's
Yes.
a Regenesis Lord.
And that's why Birth doesn't bring
Oh,
him back
sorry.
either.
yeah.
Okay. So just those two.
But that's still good. I mean, you've got everything you need there to reveal, to special summon the Archfiend, and then go ahead and special summon the Sage and Surge.
No
And
problem, man.
because Regenesis is in the graveyard, if you use that negation effect, you can actually banish Regenesis to special summon a fallen Regenesis monster. Don't have to wait till your opponent's turn for that.
But the fact that Cody was able to get both Archfiend and another monster means he can go for the Archfiend play this turn, but unfortunately it won't activate due to Baguska.
Oh, that is Baguska, isn't it? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then you can't get its effect.
Yeah,
Put it in
because of
defense mode, so...
This applies to me as well.
It's just a question of maybe this could be a rare time that Cody goes into his extra deck here to try to find an answer to this board texture, but I'm just going to see him set a card and say pass.
But that Baguska may not stay here for long because it only takes another level 4 monster in order to set up for Eclipse Twins. That's what's so wild about the modern Baguska, if that's a thing, is that you used to have to kind of wait it out or link summon it off. Now you could just be like, no, this is an Xyz material.
Grind game here.
Yeah.
Cody remarking on the fact that it's a grindy game. Looks like we're going to activate 7th Tachyon.
It is a little rough in this situation for Cody because he again has no cards in his hand to play around the Murakumo's effect to
25 defense,
negate one of his
25.
cards. That could be a little hard for him to play through, I think, this on this turn.
Really could be.
But again, to my knowledge, both duelists are at full life, so they got plenty of time here to go through this.
Still anybody's game, and Baguska's just telling everybody just take a nap, man. Just chill out.
We'll shuffle, but
It's time to duel, but maybe a turn from now. It's fine.
And there we see the Maze of the Master Classic, revealing, I believe, C104 Masquerade to search for Ice Rise Heal and then putting a card on top of the deck. That is more than enough for your scene here.
We'll go battle phase.
Turn to attack mode.
Straight to battle phase. Very impressed.
And start a battle.
What's so interesting, though, is that it's... Oh, and another Regenesis birth. It's going to be such a grinding duel because, sure, the bodies go to the graveyard, but they're going to come back.
Yeah,
Now, speaking of coming back, we did have to issue a procedural error minor for the illegal adding of a card under Droll and Lockbird. So don't worry, that's just a warning for people who are cheering on for Kody, but it is... you got to pay attention to your cards, especially when they are brand new.
100%. And there we see the birth, I believe, sending the Sage from direct from the field here, I believe.
Yeah.
Its effect.
Maybe out of names, or maybe didn't want to reach back into the deck, or maybe just really wanted to make sure to get that Sage back.
There we see Duo Drive using the effect here to attach. Going to be adding the Sword Rise Heal.
Maybe, I don't know.
And then we're going to activate. And this is going to get us Nodes, it's going to get us Cross, it's going to get us everything we need to keep playing with our Rise Heal cards.
Haven't seen a Star Rise Heal, and honestly, Yacine is getting it done just fine, relying mostly on the newer Mitsurugi cards, but just old reliable Rise Heals.
1000%. I would say Star Rise Heal is best served in the pure Rise Heal variant and maybe less so in the Mitsurugi variant, but it's still possible that he plays it.
That's fair. That's fair. To each duelist their own. And we are seeing some great play here, but Yacine taking a moment just to think, where am I going next with this?
I believe we are out of our battle phase too, so.
We are.
Revive back. The sword.
The interesting way to get Baguska off the field. But sword hits the field now, and we're going to Exceed Summon now into...
Probably good old Detonator. It's time for him to hit the board.
I think so. Yep. Detonator appears. It's still just a crazy, crazy card. You know, the first round of the tournament, we got to see that people were still playing with Tenpai. Now they're still playing with Ryzeal.
Ooh, and being able to equip the Habakiri is very fun.
Right.
There we just see a pass turn, so this will bring back the Sage to Cody's hand.
What
So
a
you're
great
using the
catch
effect
from
of-
Kody. Almost reaching to his deck and then pausing to reach
This
towards
is
his
the only one that
graveyard.
counts, right?
Making sure to grab those cards out from the
And this
graveyard
one-
during the end phase.
Yep, as you said, we are in the Regenesis phase.
Yeah, Regenesis. Powerful deck. Really curious to see where duelists go with this over time, but Cody's doing a great job of showcasing that this deck is very resilient, if nothing else.
We are going to cross-negate the Sages. I believe they do activate in the end phase.
They
so
do activate
you
during the
can
end phase, that's
negate
correct.
them at resolution.
Yeah.
Main?
Yeah.
But he can still use the Regenesis in his graveyard for this very occasion. For when you get Regenesis monsters stuck in the graveyard for whatever reason. If Regenesis is in the grave, but it wasn't sent there this turn, you could banish it just like Kody is now. And try to special summon.
Yeah, I believe
It
it's
adds
a
it back from graveyard to hand.
Sorry, hold on. Let me clarify.
Yep, just clarifying here how this card exactly works.
You can banish it, then... Hold on. Sorry.
It can be a little complicated, too, to read these kind of
That's
cards.
right,
Banish
that's
it,
right.
target one Regenesis monster in graveyard. Special summon by default.
So you got a target like this one?
Yeah, it does not add to hand, it summons specifically.
Yeah.
Thought so, but that does mean the only one we're going to be able to get is that Sage, since the Lords of the Graveyard.
Yeah, Lord is the very special one. You have to banish one of the followers in order to summon the Lord.
Just such an amazing looking card there.
Regenesis, classic simple. We love it. Yacine's really debating here how to interact with this board texture. I think he's going to go for the Detonator and destroy the Birth, question mark, was what he targeted?
I think so, even though it looked like he was gesturing towards the Archfiend. I do. Oh, no, it was the Archfiend.
It is the Archfiend. Both are kind of heads up. He can still use the Birth effect.
No. It's just destroy. Yeah, it's just the destruction effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back.
It doesn't summon?
Oh,
It
sorry,
summons.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, summons.
So it does
Thank
summon.
you, sorry.
We're good now. We're all on the same page.
Depending on what Kody drew, it was... Oh, is that Dragon?
It is Dragon.
Very nice. That'll allow him to summon another monster to the field.
Certainly helpful.
Protection if
And the Regenesis effect of Regenesis Dragon,
any
you
Xyz that would
tribute,
try
and you
to-
could go ahead and banish a spell or
And my
trap your
monsters
opponent
gain no bonus
controls.
stats because this has no materials.
Okay.
Just making sure Kody understands how the Detonator can impact this board texture and protect Yacine's
Yeah, so
cards.
everyone's at 25?
Correct.
Alright, yep.
So 25 across the board. Those monsters are kind of too big. We may not be able to get much done here.
Temp battle. Defensive dragon.
Yes,
We're going to have Dragon attack Duo Drive. They're going to crash with each
And the
other.
monsters, they only recycle themselves back on my
Turn,
turn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and they need
So
to be sent
slight
at that turn.
misnomer there. We had to pay attention. It's they recycle themselves during Yacine's end phase if they were sent to the graveyard during Yacine's turn.
That's right, that's right.
So got to
They-
be careful there.
They don't just always come back. They need to be sent there by some mechanic
This
or
is only
other.
on my turn.
it?
Yeah.
Yes, the effective birth is only during Yacine's turn.
Sorry.
It's worth noting.
So you cannot use that to rush
send
in.
me face here. Oh, what was that?
Definitely.
Probably just clarifying like how.
Sent me face here.
Definitely gets me excited to play Regenesis. Maybe in between rounds we get off of this. But jokes aside, it is difficult to navigate the situation, though, because the Amino Morokumo no Mitsurugi's negation effect, you know, Kody is so low on resources. But you want to be low on resources as Kody because you want to be committing all your Regenesis monsters to the field for additional advantage.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you normally don't mind discarding all your cards because that leads them to more likely being in your graveyard or banishment to use up birth and stuff, but that leaves you open to things like Murakumo. But with Typhon, Murakumo can activate now, so now the birth can be protected.
But you're not able to summon anymore this turn.
Yep, and we're going to go ahead and cross-negate the effective bounce here.
Oof.
All right, cool. I go.
So Yacine is going to go ahead and draw.
But it is worth noting that I believe
stand by me.
Cody's birth is now protected thanks to this Typhon, so he will get to summon back all of his Regenesis monsters.
Definitely helps there. And those monsters have less than 3,000 attacks. That helps too.
Because fun fact, Birth is one of the few continuous trap cards that sends itself for cost, therefore Detonator cannot pseudo-negate it by destroying it.
You didn't see it, but I made some hands praying to the Regenesis Lord there because that really helps keep that card just safe and effective even in this format.
Yep, so they got the X-Rizal here going to be sending. It's actually kind of huge here to send the Aggregator. We're probably going to need. We're probably going to need to chain here with the
Oh,
Birth.
that's difficult.
Yes, Kody saw though. He's a heads-up player. We respect that. Going to be using the Burst effect here, sending itself to summon back every Regenesis monster in our graveyard and banishment, which I believe is all of them except for Warrior and Lord.
And the Dragon actually is so crucial right now because you could use it to go ahead and get rid of the Rizal Cross, but unfortunately without having any cards in the hand, they're all going in defense mode. This may just be to keep Cody's life points as high as they are.
But now we have Sage though, so like Sage can stop the Murakumo and protect the Dragon's effect.
True.
So
that's a lot of resources.
We have
though.
like a negate warfare going on here between these players.
All right, looks like we're going to drop a 7th Tachyon down, revealing
Masquerade.
Number,
Yeah. Gonna search for a light level 4.
Exactly. Just reveal.
Gonna be grabbing
yeah.
Ice Rizal.
So, on reveal,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tempt fate the on fate.
So you have to send for cost?
Yep. Send art.
Yeah, I'll.
Who was that, Drat?
cross-negate.
Yep, cross negate. Oh, we also had cross negate as well. I totally forgot about that.
Mhm.
So,
That's
yeah,
the difficulty there. Rizal Cross, such a great card. Just incredible there because it doesn't matter if your monsters are negated. They got Xyz materials. That's all you need.
Right?
Yeah, it's once per turn actually.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yacine just straight up showing, yeah, no, I'm not putting this ice back on top of my deck. It'll be a different card.
Trading that out to keep the plays going.
It's pretty much out of effects.
Okay.
Normal ice effect.
Does Cross have protection? Of curiosity.
Definitely see why duelists were excited to see the full Mitsurugi package on display. We've gotten to see almost, I think, everything except Wosu.
But Yacine's extra deck is getting a little low here. Besides going for like a Eclipse Twin play, I'm not sure how much more he can do here to start recycling this Detonator because it has 0 materials, and that's the only one he has.
Well, if it fell to the graveyard, you could recycle it with Rizal Cross and try again.
That is
but
true. That is true.
might need an Eclipse Twins. I would think you might make it use Eclipse Twins, then detach it as material for the battle phase effect, and then recycle. But that is very convoluted. I think Yacine may have a better combo in mind.
We're going to get another X tier using the Swords effect.
Not at the moment, no.
Like, the unfortunate thing is all these Regenesis monsters are just so big, you know? Like, they're all 25-25, and we got to deal with this Typhon, because if it just stays in play, that could be a problem.
Yacine considering his options, but I think we're going back into the extra deck. Build the overlay network. What rank 4 shall we see now?
We're going to see Duo Drive again.
Attach back.
That attack and defense modulation will be pretty nice.
Definitely will help. You got to get bigger than 2,500.
The card that I put back, off of 7 Tachyon.
Looks like we're just verifying what card was put back off of 7 Tachyon right now.
Or that if a card was, I'm not sure. Did we attach the other duo drive? We did. Okay, great. And then we're going to overlay into Eclipse Twin here using
Oh, wow.
the rank 4 detonator as material.
Sorry, what?
Just asking a clarification of how the match was played through
Yeah,
here.
but it says actually on the top of the deck.
Yeah, just clarifying where the card went back.
Yeah. Yeah.
7 Tachyon technically
Those I shuffled, I think.
relatively new.
Sorry.
But it looks like the deck was shuffled and it wasn't placed.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Cross, actually, I forgot that you had to put back on the bottom. I
Right.
actually thought it was shuffled.
Yeah, it is going to be at the bottom there.
Yeah.
So we're going to pause play just for a second here as the judges square this one up.
So to my knowledge, the order of operations that Yacine did was he activated
I also
Tachyon,
missed one by,
he added the ice,
searching the sword.
put the card on
It's
top, and
such
then
a
summoned
weird,
ice,
Yep.
and then he summoned the
interaction,
sword,
but
and so he shuffled his deck already, and then drew after that. So I think it should be all good.
Should
yeah,
be, but
but
that's up to the judges, not us,
Right,
of course.
right,
But I
right.
do believe that you're correct, that we should be okay here.
Well, luckily for us, this game has access to instant replay, so if the way that I described worked out, I think Yacine will be fine.
Insane follow-ups.
It does. It does.
Crazy.
Cody and Yacine just taking a second to hang out. You know, the pressure's off when you got a moment, and people always forget, you know, it is your opponent, but it's also just somebody who just loves this game as much as you do. Both these guys coming from across the country, sometimes across the countries in Yacine's case.
1000%. And it's always important that in moments like this, we're just trying to clarify that the game has happened as it was supposed to. Both players can just have a chill time in the meantime.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone understands how good these brand new decks are. You know, I'm always hyping up the new format because it's new, it's exciting, right? But it is new and exciting.
No, it wasn't.
We're really seeing how much of the grind game is happening here from
The card
Regenesis.
that I drew for turn, and I already had the card before.
Yacine just taking a moment here to just explain what's going on here.
Sorry, what? No, it wasn't public knowledge. Top, and then I'm pretty sure I went like ice effect.
Yep,
and
yep.
then it de-shuffled the deck.
Yeah, again,
Yeah, the cross was definitely a
So it looks like we're going to go back in. Play is going to resume. We'll let you know if there's any penalties that came off of that, but it's likely just going to be a warning, so don't worry because we are going to get to continue this duel.
So it gets a second attack on monsters.
yeah, I will say all the cards that are in Yacine's hand are
Dolphins-
supposed to be in his hand.
Yes.
It's the extra ISO that he added off sword.
All your monsters, they lose 100 attack, but my monsters gain 100 attack for each material here. So this has 28.
So 24 versus 26.
Yeah,
Also funny,
monsters, yeah.
Eclipse Twins has 2,500 original attack and defense. You could build some kind of crazy Ryzeal Regenesis, right?
Bounce back. So I'll read
So
the
does
players.
Duo Drive.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
that one
Yeah.
actually
And it is
did.
original attack, so Duo Drive's attack boosting would not matter. But I'm not here to glaze Regenesis. We're here to talk dual monsters. So after we attack here, Yacine considering what to go for next.
Probably just going to go for the attack into the Sage, and then we're going to have Murakumo attack into... Oh, that's right! Eclipse Twin can attack multiple times.
Your monster loses 300 and mine gains
Yep, it's
3, so
28 to
I'm 100
26.
points stronger.
Yep,
Okay,
he's going to take 200 points of damage there, and then he's going to take another 28 plus 35
Oh.
from the Murakumo and the Duo
And then I'll
Drive.
attack for
Minus 100.
28 and 35.
Yep, 28, 35.
Big numbers.
So
But I believe
51,
Cody is still
and
in the
35,
game,
so
though.
You're at 16.
Yep, he's at 1,600 life points, it looks like, from the sound of it.
Could be worse. The last life point is the most important one, and Cody still has plenty of those.
But to be fair, he does have 0 cards in hand and 0 cards on board, but he gets all of his Regenesis monsters back that were destroyed this turn, which is
Parchment.
all of them.
Yeah,
Only this was
Regenesis.
familiar
Yeah.
before. Draw face.
Yeah.
And the only interaction that Yacine has is the Murakumo no Mitsurugi, and finally, Cody has cards in hand, so we might be able to play through here, but I don't know if Cody has a way to get back his Lord. That's definitely the thing I think he's going to be looking for here, and he's got to be careful about this Eclipse Twins, because once he gets rid of it, guess who comes back? Detonator.
So there was a procedural error minor, by the way, for the cards being shuffled instead of being sent to the bottom of the deck. So just be careful when you activate your Ryzeal Cross. It's not a big deal, but you want to make sure you don't get into the habit of that, as penalties could be upgraded. Speaking of upgrading, looks like Cody is upgrading his field as he goes ahead to bring out Regenesis Archfiend. We're going to search the deck for another 2,500 monster.
And it's worth noting that Yacine did try to use Murakumo, but he was like, nope, I'm going to get rid of the Super Poly. It's useless anyway. I want to use all my monster effects this turn. If I'm Cody, to my knowledge, there are no Xyz monsters currently in Yacine's graveyard, meaning if we clear this Eclipse Twins, does the detonator come back?
No, because you would have to be 2 other monsters there. So yeah, there wouldn't be enough food basically for the Eclipse Twins, because Eclipse Twins can't recycle itself because we'd be here all night.
Yeah. But it is currently pretty big, and all of his Regenesis monsters are... Wait. Does the duo drive affect? No, it's original attack.
That's right, original attack. Isn't that cool? Like the original
For a second.
attack, it keeps you from doing anything wild, but it also preserves your right to Regenesis.
1000%. For a second, I was like, oh my god, did Yacine just perfectly counter Regenesis right
None
now?
of my monsters, and other than the fact that they all lose 300 and my monsters all gain 300.
That's Eclipse Twins causing that, right? Or is
Yeah,
that
So we did
Eclipse
get out
Twins.
both dragons, so we have the Spell Trap Banish, and we did get out the Sage there, so we do have the sort of built-in negate there. Now Regenesis.
take me back into the advocate?
But right now, they're not big enough to necessarily do anything because those are some big monsters from his board.
He might be going for Regenesis Warrior then. Remember, it's going to add to the hand or send to the grave. And there is the Warrior. Warrior
So
is
this one,
the
it
monster
does
bounce.
what again?
This one's the return of monster.
Returning it back to the
Yeah,
hand.
Ooh, but that could be a little dangerous because the most ideal thing to get rid of would be the duo drive, but that puts another duo drive in Yacine's graveyard, which then could trigger the Eclipse Twins. So you
It
want
is a quick effect, though, so you could do Order of Operations. You could attack and then bounce before anything happens.
Ooh.
Return to the hand. Got to get out of the habit of saying bounce, but there is more bounce in the outs in this card for sure.
Gotta read some deck
Ooh,
cards.
but I think he's eyeing, is that Coach King Giant Trainer?
There are some level 8s in this deck.
They are big boys.
Oh, but is that number 90?
That could be pretty good.
We're getting the whole... So it's not just super polymerization targets. There's actually some ways to use your Regenesis monsters to keep going here. It's cool to see the pure build. I'm very curious to see how people continue to work on this deck, but this is neat.
No, duo drive is
Dual
the
drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just
I will
clarifying where the
attempt
boost is
Warrior's
coming
Effect.
from. Yeah, this is a little awkward here because you want to clear the Eclipse Twins first, but if you do that for the duo drive, now there's another Xyz monster for Eclipse Twins.
Yeah, but you could negate it technically with the Sage.
That is true. You're so right. So yeah,
So
we
all
just
die?
Yeah.
And
So we're
then
gonna-
twins effect.
Oh, you're going to let it happen.
This.
Maybe not worried about it?
I suppose. Oh no, did we have King of the Paralimbs this game? Oh, we had Baguska too. Never mind.
Yeah.
Twins,
Oh,
Twins,
that's right.
I don't
Okay,
think
Twins
it
was always live.
Twins was always live.
Don't pay attention to us, chat.
We were never playing around that card.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh, and there we
Oh,
see
in
Kody
that
scooping it up.
game.
Turns out Yacine did have access to a second detonator through his Eclipse Twins, and that was all he needed to lock this one up for himself.
Just good stuff, though. Yacine showing that the old ways are still good. Just incredible, incredible gameplay there. And yeah, now Yacine's got it. Smile on his face, feeling good about it.
Yeah, it's always good to have a nice grindy game against one of the newest decks in the format, Alliance Insight, and this Regenesis deck. Really cool to see both players sort of showcasing the power of grindy Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus just the combo Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sure people are used to seeing.
Yeah, you know, we go through different phases and different formats. Sometimes the slowest Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the best Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? I'm thinking some Altergeist formats of the distant past. There's some shudders probably that were sent down the spines of people listening to my voice. But there's also really fast and furious Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? I'm thinking about things like Dragon Link and stuff like that where you're just piling all the cards on the table. But it ebbs and flows, so it's really neat to see that Alliance Insight is showing us a very different walk of life for this format, at least.
And if there's one thing everyone can learn at home, it's that once per duel effects. They're pretty good.
Once per duel effect's pretty good. Yeah, if it says once per duel, Spore is always the one that comes to mind, right? If it says once per duel, give it a look. Think about it. It's probably pretty decent. But honestly, just good stuff from Yacine, great stuff from Kody too, just sort of navigating all the different board states there. But I'm really interested to see where this goes, right? You know, is Mitsurugi Ryzeal the optimal build for Yacine, or does he eventually go to Mitsurugi Pure, or on the Regenesis stuff, do you stick with it? It kind of had like a Horus feeling, didn't it?
Right, yeah, this ability to just kind of like put your cards in your graveyard and just get full access to them or full value out of them is pretty nice. Yeah, who knows? I think both go really well. I think something in the favor of Pure is that you can play Dominus Impulse pretty seamlessly.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
that card
true.
feels really good this format, so...
Yeah, must be nice. I think as a Regenesis player, I'm like, oh, I don't get any Dominus because there's all the different attributes
I have
there,
too many
so.
attributes, too many
many
colors.
attributes, too many different cards. But there's some really good stuff there. There's a lot of cards out there. I mean, think about that first round that we had. The Dragon Ruler match was just insane. If you haven't seen that, please rewind on the VOD. But this is like it is a brand new format, but it feels so refreshing. Just new stuff. Is there anything that you're still hoping to see out there that we haven't gotten to see yet?
Oh, I love me some Heraldic Beasts. I would love to see an Heraldic Beast Ryzeal player or just some fun rank 4 toolbox that goes into the crest card. That'd be so fun to see.
That's right. Among us, you probably are, like, among the commentators, the biggest Zexal fan.
Zexal is the best anime season. I will debate anyone on that topic and probably win.
Catch this guy high-fiving the sky anytime I'm not looking. I'm just like, But it shows you that like there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. You can play some of your old decks. There's a lot of cool new things. But speaking of cool, I do have somebody to talk about.
Yeah, let's go ahead and send it over to Steven to talk to Yacine about his impressive victory.
Thank you very much. I've Yacine here on stage. Congratulations on your feature match win. I got to put you on the spot, though. Before coming up here, you said, oh, this is going to be over in like 10 minutes. I think it took a little longer than that, so what's up with that?
Yeah, maybe just a little longer. My bad. The Regenesis trap card is extremely annoying, and I didn't interact with it really well. I should have destroyed on his turn, even though he can chain to like Book of Moon and send cards. I still should have done it because the annoying effect is the one that happens on my turn, and I can't really interact with it because it sends itself for cost, so I can't chain Detonator to destroy it. So that was the misplay. And the second one, I summoned Sword off of Ice. I used the effect, and then I looked at my deck and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I only have 2 Razor monsters anymore, so Dual Drive can't search. So yeah, and also like, I did a bunch of things wrong. The Dual Drive attaching so that Typhon and Twins don't have the same stats, so I can't crash to revive back the Detonator. That was another one of my plays that I wanted to do. Everything went wrong.
It's easier to know after the moment, when you're on stage doing it. How many feature matches have you done so far?
This is my first one in North America, and I've only done one in Europe. And yeah, I don't think it's like the pressure of the feature match. It's just like the Regenesis cards are, yeah.
Newer cards, hard to learn. Well, I know that you have a lot of people out there cheering you on. You've helped out a lot of people with Yu-Gi-Oh! So you want to give a shout out to the fans?
Huge shout-outs to everyone who's following and supported me. You guys are the best. And huge shout-outs to everyone who's out there at YCS Providence, Rhode Island today. You guys are the GOATs.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yacine. Congratulations on your win. We're going to throw it back to the casters.